Okay guys, so I'm going to show you all how to make some English muffins. As you can see, everything's in my mixer. I used the paddle to mix this with. This is a Pinterest recipe, and I will put the link below on everything that you need to do, but this is literally, you put everything in one pot. I think this is like 4.5 cups of flour, 2 tablespoons of sugar, 2 teaspoons of instant yeast, 1 1/4 teaspoon of salt. You just put all the dry ingredients in there, and then the wet ingredients, which me personally, I just put it in a measuring cup, in a glass measuring cup. It's 1 3/4 cup of milk, 3 tablespoons of softened butter, and 1 beaten egg. Literally, I put the milk in the microwave safe measuring cup. I go ahead and put the butter in there, and I microwave it at 1 minute increments. The temperature should not get over 115. If it gets higher than 115, it'll kill your yeast. I literally use a meat thermometer, this little bad boy right there. Turn it around this way, and I just stick it in the glass container, and it needs to not get above 115 degrees. It'll kill the yeast, or just let it basically come down. I get it to about 120 degrees, and then since it takes 1 lightly beaten egg in there, I actually put the egg in the milk, and it cools the milk down a little bit. So I put the milk and the butter in the microwave, minute at a time, get it to about 120 degrees. And then I put 1 egg in there and scramble it really quickly, and it will actually bring the temperature down. Just make sure it's not above 115. And then you just pour the liquid in the bowl as the mixer goes. You use the paddle mixer, and you let it go for about 5 minutes. And it's kind of, you know, a sticky kind of mess. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover this with cling wrap, and then I am going to go set it on my stove, which I have everything out of my oven right now. I will set it on my stove right now because I'm getting ready to do bacon. If you're not going to cook and you don't have a warming drawer or a proofing drawer, you can set your oven on 200 degrees and then put your, I don't move it out of this. I'm going to cover this with cling wrap, and literally I set it in the back of the stove back here, covered in cling wrap, and in about an hour this is going to double, which we'll come back and I'll show you what that looks like, and I'll probably hook my camera up to one of my stands, and I'll show you how to roll it out and do the next phase of the English muffins. These are really actually super easy to do. They just take multiple steps to do them, but they're fast. So stay tuned. We'll come back in probably about an hour and we'll look at it. Hey guys, we're, let me go up a little bit. Hey, okay, so, pardon the look, but it's Sunday and I don't get dressed up for Sunday. We are ready to do the next phase of the English muffins. So hang tight for just a second. I'm gonna roll this down and we're going to get on to that. Look how big it got. Look at that. It's gorgeous. Okay, this is my cornmeal. Actually, this isn't just straight up cornmeal. This is actually cornbread mix. It really doesn't matter what you use. You're just trying to get the stuff to like not stick, really, is all that we're trying to do. So I'm gonna get some parchment paper. I'm gonna put it down here because I don't like making a mess. That's just me. We're gonna kind of roll that down a little bit so you guys can, yeah, there we go. There it is. I don't like having to clean up my counter because this stuff gets pretty goofy. So we're gonna do that, okay? I'm gonna get a little bit of flour, just because I don't want a whole lot of cornmeal hanging out on top of my muffins. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna peel this off ever so gently. Don't worry about the little bit that's on there. There's really not much you can do about it, I promise. So just leave it there. All right, and what we're gonna do is we're just gonna dump this out. It's gonna look like an alien mess. Like I said, I'll leave the Pinterest recipe in the link below. This is not my recipe. I'm not taking credit for it. But I've done a couple of them, and this one is the one I like the most. So it should come out pretty clean like that, okay? And basically we're not kneading any of this. You really don't mess with it a whole lot. We're just trying to kind of make it into a log so that we've got something to cut, basically. I'm rolling it back and forth in the flour just to kind of get it where it won't stick, and I'm kind of brushing a bit of it off. And then kind of put it in your hands so that, because this dough is kind of sticky. And then basically we're just going to kind of stretch it out. Let me come back just a little further. There you go. That way you guys can see that stuff. So we're just going to stretch it out. Depending on how big you want your muffins, depend on how many you get. I've gotten near 22, I think. Okay, now before we start cutting, I have 2 baking pans that are lined with parchment. We need to cover them with the cornmeal, or cornmeal mix in my case. This is like straight up like Martha White, actual cornmeal or cornbread mix. And it's fine. It totally works. Okay, look it, you need to have quite a bit on there. Like, don't get chinchy with it because it'll stick to this and you do have to get them off of this. If you manhandle them trying to do that, you'll deflate them and they'll be flat. All right, so I'm gonna get my handy dandy knife because that's basically what I use. And I just start cutting. You can kind of see about how big they are. Obviously, they're going to get a little bigger in the middle because there's just more dough there. And then I'll show you how to roll them out. We'll do some of these right now because we're running out of room. So basically I just kind of take it. I don't really mess with it a whole lot. I just kind of take it and pat it around to kind of make it look like a circle. And then you just set it on, let's go this way a little bit so you can see both. You just set it on your sheet, your prepared sheet. So you see the 2 cut ends? I kind of just squish it together like that and then just lightly kind of pat it. Kind of make it round. And these will fluff up, so don't lay them right next to each other because again, if they stick, you're gonna deflate them. Nobody likes a flat English muffin, people. Okay. I'm doing this because I've had a couple of friends that really want to learn how to make these English muffins, and I promise they're super easy. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing them. I know baking is my thing, but bread generally is not. So again, it's kind of long. Squish it to the center to kind of make it round. And just don't manhandle it a whole lot. See? Easy peasy. Make sure you have a bit of the cornmeal up underneath it. And then I'll show you another trick that I do as well. See, this stuff is super sticky. So squish it in. There we go. If it sticks too much, put a little bit of the AP, which is all-purpose flour, on your hands so that it doesn't stick. See, just like that. You can see all the air pockets in there. Those are going to be all kinds of nice, pretty crevices. Okay, now the other thing that you can do, because there's a lot of cornmeal on this, is you can roll it around on the cornmeal and then flip it over, because the other side does need to have cornmeal on it because it will stick. We do have to cover it with a towel. And I'll be honest with you, I just flip it back over because I want the pretty side up. But we have to cover it with a towel and let it rise again. So we have another rising method. over. And we're actually going to lift this up a little bit. Stretch it out a little bit more. Okay. You can probably hear the Prince playing in the background. He got the new revised Resident Evil 2 from the original back in like 1997 for the new Xbox One. He likes it. He's enjoying it. I think he said it's not quite as good as the original, but it's a really good game. So that's what you hear in the background when you hear all the groaning and moaning and all that nonsense carrying on. Now, see, look, you can see the really big air pockets. Yay! That's going to be yummy deliciousness, I'm just saying. All right, so when I'm done with this, I'll make sure that there's enough cornmeal sitting on the top of these as well so that nothing sticks to it. Because again, if the towel sticks at this point, you'll deflate these and you will end up with really flat English muffins. Will it ruin them? No, it won't ruin them. They will still be lovely, but they won't be as lovely. Is kind of how that works. You want them to be nice and fluffy and fat. Deliciousness. Now, the Prince is not much on carbs, but he loves a really good English muffin. So I was happy that I was able to find this recipe and use it, as we haven't bought English muffins since. Now, I will tell you a cheat. The recipe tells you specifically to use King Arthur's flour. And while I like King Arthur's flour, please don't get me wrong, it is a little on the pricey side. I mean, it's almost $5 for a 5-pound bag, which is a lot. I did do a cheat, FYI, is Walmart does have a version of the same exact flour. It is sifted and it is unbleached. Do not buy the bleached flour. It's very soft. That's actually what I'm using right now. It works just as good as the King Arthur's. I can tell you that because the first few batches, I actually bought King Arthur's. And I did buy another 5-pound bag because I wasn't completely sure that was going to work. So, you know, I popped for the other one just to be on the safe side. Let me see if I have the bag. I don't think I do. No, I don't. I do not. But I do have the King Arthur's. So, basically what you do, this is the King Arthur's. And you can see that it's all-purpose flour and it is unbleached. It's really super important. It is sifted as well. So if you will just look, usually they put the Walmart version next to whatever the name brand is that they're selling. This is a really good flour, I'm not gonna lie. But it's, like I said, it's almost $5. The other one I think is like $3. Basically, it comes in, I think it's a blue and white bag, but I can't remember. I didn't save the bag. But I'll buy it from now on just because it's less expensive. And I make this a lot. Like, we make English muffins probably about once every 2 weeks. So, but this is a good flour, but try the generic version because it works just as good. So, we are now going to make sure that we have enough, you know, cornmeal over the tops of these, because again, I do not want my towel sticking to this. It would be like just a horrendous, horrendous thing. I'm going to take this over to the stove. All right, we're going to get the other one. You can see this big bad boy. Looks good. I'm going to move this up and move this up. I want to make sure I have enough room that these things don't touch each other. Okay, and then we'll put a little more. Now we have a couple of more steps before these are actually done. They're fast steps, so please don't cheat. I mean, technically you can do this straight in the oven. I'm not going to because they don't turn out near as pretty. So we're going to take this over to the oven. We are going to get out some clean towels. I'm going to raise you guys up. And then we're going to go over to the stove, as you can see. And then we're going to go down. There they are. So we are literally just going to cover these. Let me roll this down a little bit so you guys can see that. We're just going to take some clean towels and we're going to cover these. Now I put them on my stove because I don't have a proofing drawer in this oven. So basically, as you can see, I have the temperature set on 200 just so that it's nice and warm because it's cold right now, and I don't keep my house like a sauna. I think I keep my my temperature at like, I don't know, 65, something like that. So it's not warm enough in here to proof bread. All right, so up we go. We're going to go back over. All right. Hey. Okay, so we're done with that part. We're now going to proof them again. This will take about an hour or so. I mean, technically, you can leave it longer. It's not like you have to time it and go, oh my God, it's been an hour. I have to go do it now. They're not that fussy. They really aren't. I'll leave it until I think they're tall enough or I'm ready to grill them. Whichever one basically comes first. So you can kind of make it go as fast or as slow as you want to, but that's the reason I use the paper, because I can just mush up my mess and throw it in the garbage. And then I can just clean my counter. So we'll come back in probably an hour or so, just whenever it is that I decide that I'm going to, you know, get ready to do these. And then we'll griddle them. And then we will actually put them in the oven at 350 for 10 minutes. And then they'll be done. So we'll be back in a few. Hey guys, okay, we're back. So here are the English muffins. You can see that they're pretty puffy. I have a griddle here. We'll raise this down just to lower it down just a little bit so you guys can kind of see the griddle. Okay, there we go. So we're basically going to transfer these onto the griddle very carefully. I haven't greased this. I haven't done any of that, so don't do that. But we're basically going to just very gently pick these up and lay them down. Do this very gently, because again, we don't want to deflate these. Some of these are quite large, which is okay because we like big English muffins. But just be very gingerly removing these. I have this set up, I think, as high as it will go. I'm going to save the parchment paper because when these are done cooking on either side, I'm going to put them back on here and then we'll put them in the oven for 10 minutes. So basically these are just going to go, they'll start cooking. I mean, technically you could do them probably all the way on the griddle. I don't, just because I don't want to mess with it that long. I want to make sure that they're done in the middle. So I pretty much just brown them really nicely on both sides, kind of what an English muffin looks like. And then we put them in the oven at 350 for 10 minutes. Then I pull them out, let them cool off, stick them in a Ziploc baggie. I go ahead and put mine in the refrigerator. If you don't do that, and that's just a trick with any bread, to be quite honest with you, if you don't do that, these will mold very quickly. They'll only last about 4 to 5 days. If you put them in the refrigerator, I've had them last over a month. That actually works the same with bread. Just FYI. We'll kind of tilt these up and just take a quick look. Okay, they look beautiful. So we're going to flip them over. You can see how nice and pretty and brown that is. You don't have to be quite so gentle with them once they get brown on the one side. Those look very good. And then we'll let them cook on that side. You can see how pretty. They look very pretty. They don't take very long. I know this seems like a lot of steps. I'll raise this up for you guys for a minute. I know it seems like a few steps to do this. It's definitely worth it, I think, to take the steps to do it this way. They're really, really, really good English muffins. And the good thing about this is you know exactly what's in it. You know, there's really nothing processed other than, you know, your flour. You know what you're putting in it. You're putting flour, you're putting salt, you're putting yeast, sugar, milk, egg, and butter, and that's it. So you kind of know what's there. How can that be bad, right? Read the package of an English muffin, and I promise you it has more than those ingredients in it. I'm just saying. They don't last much longer either. So, you know, if you're going to indulge and you're going to have the carbs and you're going to do things like that, is make it yourself. You know what's in it, very little ingredients. It's very pure whole food basically, so why not? And you see it doesn't take that long really to do. These are basically done, so we'll go ahead and take them off and we'll put them on the sheet over here. So we're now going to transfer. You can see how pretty they are. Look at that. Just beautiful. Now it doesn't matter if you put them close to each other. It doesn't matter if they stick because they're not going to deflate after that. These are definitely raw on the inside. I can tell, I can feel it. I'm gonna go get the other batch. So we now have this batch. Look how pretty. So we ended up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So we ended up with 15 muffins this time. Which for us will last a bit of time. I'm gonna roll this down a little bit more because I want you guys to see me lift these off on how careful I am being basically with this. So I'm just kind of very gently picking that up and putting that over. Very gently. If you start manhandling these, they'll go flat. So don't do that. See, and I almost put those too close together. Almost. We're going to turn these around so you guys can see them. Because if they touch, when you pull them away from each other, they'll deflate. Okay. So we're going to let these big bad boys go. Cleanup is real easy. You know, you just wipe this off, because again, I haven't greased it. I haven't done any of that stuff. We'll turn it this way. We'll watch them cook. Yes. Literally, I have the puppy sitting on the chair over there going, where's mine? Where's mine? You're not getting any. These are for the humans. They're very good right out of the oven, I'll just tell you. How long do they take? I mean, a couple of minutes. You can literally, after, you know, a minute or two, pick it up and kind of look at the bottom and just see if it's not brown enough, put it back down. And that's actually brown enough already. So see, it really did not take that long. We're doing this in real time right here. And again, just very gently turning it over. We'll let it cook on the other side. There we go. And then we'll put them back on the cookie sheet and we'll let them cook for 10 minutes at 350. Again, the full recipe, I'll have the Pinterest link in the description bar below. Literally just follow the recipe. I promise you put all the dry ingredients in one bowl. You put all the wet ingredients in the other. You mix them together, bada bing, bada boom. You do need to let it mix with the paddle, which is kind of weird because most breads don't do that. It uses the dough hook. Use the paddle and it needs to mix for about 5 minutes. It will not necessarily come away from the bowl. I think I showed you guys what it looked like when I first took the paddle, and I had to, you know, really pull the stuff off the paddle. Okay, we're pretty good. So I'm gonna unplug this because I don't need it to, it's still pretty hot. I'm gonna let it sit for another few seconds just to make sure I get all that beautiful brownness on it. And then we're gonna pop them in the oven. Yep. Super pretty. All right. We'll do it over that way. We're gonna put everything those boys are big, they barely fit. All right, off to the oven we go. All right, and for 10 minutes. Wipe everything down. Put our things back. Because we made a little bit of a mess here. Hi, Pompey. All right. We're gonna clean up right there. Okay, guys. In 10 minutes, I will come back and I will show you the English muffins as they come out of the oven, and we'll take some pictures for Pinterest because even though I have made this recipe about 4 or 5 times, I almost have it committed to memory. Almost. I haven't taken any pictures for Pinterest because I have a page on there too. So we'll do that as well. So we'll see you back here in about 10 minutes. Okay, timer went off. So I'm gonna go get those out of the oven. So we'll be right back. Wish y'all had smell-o-vision because all right. I'm gonna leave that like that just to make it warm. Okay, people. We're gonna get some butter. We're gonna get an English muffin. And we are totally gonna cut into that. And show you how yummy and delicious this is. Pretty. Look at all those crevices. We put a little bit of butter on it, just because we can. A little bit of butter on that one, just because we can. Okay. Look at all that. And then we're going to have some. Cheers. Look how pretty. I promise they're worth it. Guys, leave your comments in the comment box below. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Like it, share it. Hit the notification bell because you never know. Again, you never know what's going to show up on my channel. Whole bunch of everything, really, for sure. Kitten season is coming, so any of you people out there that want to help me in my kitten rescue, meaning helping me with supplies, I do have a link to my Amazon wish list. You can go straight in through there, and I'm pretty sure if you go through my wish list, that it actually will send it directly to my home. If not, leave me a comment in the box below. I'll give you any information basically that you need. The kittens thank you in advance. Well, you guys know the rules. Till I see you next time, stay safe, stay clean, and have a perfect English muffin day. Bye.